What's going on, guys? TCG here, and so we're at 464 subscribers. We just need 36 more subscribers in order to hit the 500 mark that we've been striving for. Once we hit that, we will be doing a giveaway of a starter deck, a not just blue. We'll do green, white, red, yellow, purple. It doesn't matter. Any color you want. We're going to pick somebody in the comments. We're going to reach out to them on however, we'll figure something out. Whether it's Discord, whether it's through anything. It doesn't matter. And we will get that handed out to somebody. So today's topic is going to be about tips on how to get better at Battle Spirits Saga mainly, but these are they translate well to other card games, some of the tips. Not all of them, though, as this is a Battle Spirits channel. So without further ado, let's just get into the first tip we got here. So understanding the tempo. Are you the aggressor, or are you playing off the back foot, as I like to say, or the defender, basically? So are you the person that's, kind of putting your knee on their back, about to finish things off? You have control of the game. You know that there's nothing they can really do. There's very few options they could do to pull this one out. Or are you the person trying to get that out, figure it out, trying to survive and win the game? I like to think of tempo. I like to think of snowballs. Basically, you have a snowball. Your opponent has a snowball, right? You're basically rolling a snowball the entire game, both of you. And as you're rolling the snowball, you use cards in order to increase the size of the snowball, or your opponent can use cards to decrease the size of your snowball. So things like King Charles, right? You hit a 5 cost off the top deck. That's going to make your snowball bigger. Boom, your tempo's going up and up and up. And say your opponent uses a Burning Force and destroys 2 of your spirits. Boom, your snowball just got that much smaller. There's other things to take into consideration about tempo. How many cards are in hand? How many cores do they have? How many reduction symbols? There's a lot to pay attention to in this game. Especially with a lot of, there is so much variation in this game. There's so many different things you could do. You can exhaust people's spirits already, removing cores from things, bouncing things to the bottom of the deck, to the top of the deck, back to hand. There's a lot of different interactions already in the game, so makes it a lot to take in. You also have to consider if they can beat you in the next turn, right? So how many spirits do they have? How much life do you have? How many cards do they have in hand? Are they able to summon enough spirits with the cores they have? It's just always think back to the snowball thing, where is this card going to make my snowball bigger, or is it not going to help me at all? You know what I mean? Obviously summoning spirit or anything like that. You get the point. I'm not gonna go too much into it. We got other tips to go over, so sometimes don't be afraid to draw and pass turn. Sometimes the better play is to let your opponent make a mistake than to force something. I know a lot of times I see my opponent, I'll just do nothing, and I'll see them kind of try to force something, and them forcing something ends up being their downfall and brings me back, and I can take over at that point. So you want to minimize the amount of decisions. Not always, but when you're in a game, keeping the decisions minimized is pretty good. Sometimes you do want to have a lot of decisions in order to take different routes into things, but for the most part, you want to keep it simple, keep it clean. The flashy play is not always the best play. So let's just put it like that. So we'll get into a little bit of color tips. So playing against purple, if you are going second on your turn 1, you do not attack, all right? I do not care. Do not at me. Do not tell me otherwise. You do not attack purple on your first turn if you go second. Okay? There are things like Beldegor that exists, Core Drain that exists, Mordred that exists. Your spirit that you just swung with is gone. If you swing, okay, you're going to take a damage, but you're about to lose that tempo, and you're about to take even more damage from purple player because they're going to summon like 2 Beldegors, and then you just lost 2 life, and you have no spirit. So, big fat L. Also, it allows for a turn 2 Netherworld Depths from the purple player because you're, say they have a reduction symbol on board already, like a Aglavale Camelot Knight, whatever, and you just gave them their 5th core in order to pay 5 and get the Netherworld Depths out. So it's never a good idea to attack purple on your first turn if you're going second. So, and also playing against white, rushing white is probably your best chance you have at winning. Playing as white in the late game is the most boring thing you'll ever experience, and you just don't let it get to that point because you just lose. Basically, what the game will start to look like at that point is, okay, draw. Well, if I do this, he's going to do this. If I attack, he's going to bounce like 3 different units, and that's going to suck. If I don't let anything happen, the elk's going to burn me for a life. So what do you do? Okay, yeah, that's what it looks like. Don't get to that point. You just want to play a bunch of low-cost spirits and just keep swinging. If your game's going for like probably 8 minutes, that's when it starts to get into white territory where they're just going to end the game. Well, not really end the game. They're going to make the game go longer and you're going to suffer and then you're going to lose. So, so now we're going to go into mind games or like the key to victories sometimes, man. Bluffing a flash or making them think you place an ice shield will change how your opponent plays the game and you can easily take advantage of those situations. So like bluffing a flash, what I mean by bluffing a flash, right? Say you have 2 Nexuses, 2 Spirits in hand, right? You have 4 cards in hand. Your opponent has no idea what's in your hand. You have a few cores over here in the reserve, whatever. Wait, you know, you're looking, you counting your cores a little bit. You have no flash, and then you go, no flash. Makes your opponent think for a second, okay, what could they possibly have that they were counting? And then they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to pass turn from here because I don't want to lose what I got going. So it makes them preemptively end their turn, which is a good thing. Also, another key little tip, unless you're playing green Swift deck, I don't really recommend you leaving cores in your reserve. If you have cores in your reserve, just place them onto a spirit or place it onto a Nexus somewhere. Don't leave cores in reserve unless you're playing Swift. It's it takes a little bit to get used to, but after you do it for a few games, it's just kind of muscle memory at that point where you're like, oh, I have 2 cores right there, just throw them right there, whatever, it doesn't matter. Helps when you're playing against purple, helps unless you're playing against like the blessed like somersault BS, right? Because sometimes you want to have like level 3s, and so you'll yeah, it's there's a lot of things to think about, man. So that's all I got for today, guys. Hope this was informational. Hope you guys learned something. Maybe something you'll pass on to another card game, or maybe you'll apply it here to Battle Spirits Saga. I hope that some of you apply this to Battle Spirits Saga. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.